There is a massive appeal to finding an off-grid, unmaintained trail. If you're looking for absolute mental clarity and a break from the stress of everyday life, getting away from the crowds on a hidden path feels like the perfect escape. But there is a specific moment when that peaceful isolation turns on you. The woods drop into a dead silence, and you notice an animal acting wrong. It might stare a little too long or move in a way that just doesn't make sense. That immediate shift from peace to pure panic is a very real survival instinct. When confronted with these strange encounters in the deep woods, our brains often default to the internet lore we've consumed. We jump straight to myths like skinwalkers or possessed creatures, instead of recognizing the actual biological threats standing right in front of us. This highlights the core trade-off of the backcountry. Choosing an unmaintained trail guarantees you solitude, but strictly at the cost of removing all your external safety nets. Out there, you are your own first responder. Applying ghost stories to real-world wilderness anomalies is a dangerous cognitive trap. If you misdiagnose a threat because you're terrified of a myth, you make bad decisions. Running blindly down a mountain in a panic, or worse, approaching an infected animal, can lead to severe physical consequences. To stay safe, we must translate creepy encounters into biological data. Look at this simple decision tree. When you encounter unusual wildlife, check for normal behavior, which means proceed, or anomalous behavior, meaning assess the biological threat and execute a retreat. Stripping away the hype of internet lore and replacing it with scientific reality is the most reliable way to make safe, rational decisions when you're miles from help. Let's look at the first major wilderness anomaly. You lock eyes with a large animal, like a deer or coyote, and it refuses to flee. It just holds dead-on eye contact. It's easy to see how this specific behavior fuels those paranormal tropes. A deer staring into your soul without flinching feels unnatural, almost like a supernatural entity observing you. The biological reality is practical and dangerous. This lack of fear indicates chronic wasting disease or severe habituation. Look for secondary symptoms: drooping ears, emaciation, or a blank stare. The safety protocol: maintain visual dominance and execute a slow retreat. Breaking eye contact or turning your back on an animal exhibiting these symptoms is a major mistake. It can easily trigger a latent prey drive or unpredictable aggression in an animal whose brain is literally deteriorating. The second anomaly involves observing an animal with missing patches of hair, deformed facial features, or an unnatural, erratic gait. Because the physical appearance is so shocking, these visual markers are frequently misinterpreted as cryptids or mythological monsters. The actual biological causes behind these mangled features are usually late-stage rabies or severe sarcoptic mange. These advanced diseases completely degrade the animal's neurological system. The infection strips away their normal fear of humans, leading to the bizarre moaning or stumbling behavior that often gets reported in horror stories. When you see these signs, the evasion tactic is straightforward. Maintain a wide physical barrier between yourself and the animal while carefully exiting. A bizarre or mangled appearance is not a supernatural event. It is a clear, visual indicator of medical unpredictability that demands immediate, unobstructed distance. Now let's shift from visual anomalies to auditory ones. This includes hearing rhythmic pacing in the brush, rustling parallel to the trail, or even unnatural whistling. There is an intense psychological dread that hits when you realize you are being actively mirrored or followed by an unseen source. The biological reality here is that you have walked into predator territory, and you are actively being assessed for vulnerability. Specific predators, like mountain lions, use parallel tracking and occasionally vocal mimicry to test a target's awareness and gauge your reaction. The countermeasure here is breaking your prey profile. Make yourself appear physically large and generate loud, unnatural metallic noises to signal you're a difficult target. Anomalous sounds mean you are dealing with an active hunt, not a haunting. Shrinking down, staying silent, or trying to hide in the bushes is the exact wrong response. Beyond wildlife behavior, we have to evaluate the physical environment of the hidden trail itself. A degraded trail presents immediate environmental red flags. Overgrown bushes obscuring the path and multiple fallen trees blocking your passage are clear signs the area is entirely unmaintained. The perceived reward of finding an isolated spot comes with the extreme risk of suffering an unrecoverable injury. A simple twisted ankle becomes a massive problem when you're in an unmonitored area. To offset this specific risk, mandatory logistical gear is required. Regardless of the trip length, you need a satellite messenger device and a high-lumen flashlight. Stepping onto a profoundly degraded path immediately strips away the herd safety effect. You can no longer rely on accidental discovery by another hiker as a viable rescue plan. Ultimately, that deep, bad feeling you get in the woods is usually just your brain's subconscious processing of real biological or environmental red flags. To determine if deep isolation matches your preparation, we map this on a quadrant chart. In the lower left are casual hikers seeking stress relief in state parks. In the top right is the backcountry optimizer, investing in rigorous safety protocols for deep isolation. There is a direct correlation here. The deeper the physical isolation you seek, the higher the upgrade in objective threat assessment you must possess. If you are unwilling to carry satellite communication or study local wildlife diseases, you should avoid unmaintained paths entirely. But for those who do put in the work, the reward is profound. You gain access to the experience of genuine, undisturbed wilderness peace. It's time to stop letting internet lore and campfire ghost stories dictate how we experience nature. True safety in the deep woods doesn't come from superstition. It relies entirely on actionable science and deliberate preparation.